Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Holzer and I'm the editor on the Wonder Woman titles. And today I would like to welcome you to DC Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman Across the Multiverse, which is a panel brought to you by San Diego Comic-Con as part of San Diego Comic-Con at Home this year. So today I'd like to welcome all of our wonderful panelists, but instead of me giving you their names and introducing them, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. First up, why don't we start with Becky and Michael?
Hey, I'm Becky Cloonan.
I'm Michael Conrad, and together we write
Wonder Woman.
Yay!
Then we want to go to Vita next.
Hi, I'm Vita Ayala, and I am co-writing something with Steph Williams, but I'll let her tell you what it is.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Williams, and I'm co-writing Nubia in the Amazon with Vita Ayala and collaborating with Alethea Martinez.
Hi, my name is Alethea Martinez, and I get to draw Nubia. That's amazing. It's written by Vita Ayala and Stephanie Williams.
Great. Well, thank you all for introducing yourselves. And I'm going to start things off by asking you a really fun question to get the ball rolling. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the projects you're currently working on, what drew you to it, and what you think fans may especially enjoy about it through the summer and early fall? Why don't we start with Becky and Michael again?
Yeah, together we write Wonder Woman, and right now we kind of started in a very strange place, a place that was strange for Diana as well as kind of for us as readers and fans of hers. At the close of Death Metal, as you know, she had ascended to save the multiverse, and she found herself in an afterlife that she didn't belong in. So she, for months now, she's been trying to find her way back to where she belongs. And along the way, discovering all kinds of problems in the afterlife that she's been working to solve in order to get back to where she belongs and to be the Wonder Woman that we all know and love.
It's been kind of like a whirlwind tour of the Sphere of the Gods and the multiverse. So it's been crazy to write. There's been a lot of surprises that we've been surprised a lot by the things we're learning about Diana and the things that she's done. So that's always fun when you find yourself writing something and then it just kind of goes off the rails a little bit, which I think is kind of, really good for Wonder Woman.
It makes it a good place for new readers to jump on if you aren't super familiar with Diana and her mythos. For elements of this story, she's been kind of relearning who she is, and it's going to be really exciting when she becomes fully realized again, and we're able to kind of celebrate along with her knowing who she is, us as readers having a new understanding of this new status quo that's very much based on the 80 years of lineage and storytelling that came before us.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of Sphere of the Gods, do you have a favorite place that you've visited so far in the story?
Oh, goodness.
That's hard. I think I would have to say it's Elfame for me, which is the land of fairy. And so that was kind of fun to do superhero stories in fairyland, I guess.
Nice. And you had a special guest star artist for that. Can you give us a little more info?
We got to work with Jill Thompson on the Elfame issue, who is legendary. She's one of my favorite artists. She's one of my favorite people. She's painting the entire thing and it looks ridiculous. Wow. It's so good. Michael is probably the biggest.
I'm so over the moon about it. I've been a Jill Thompson fan my entire life. I think she's beyond being an icon. She's just one of the most vital creators out there right now. And to see her come to Wonder Woman and to contribute to something that we're doing is just, I can't stop smiling about it.
He couldn't speak after he read the email that she he was like speechless.
Like
that's the kind of like I love hearing that. And I was going to say, speaking of speechless, Vita and Steph, you are working on a really important character of the DC universe that hasn't quite gotten the spotlight in our past, but now as part of the bright future is going to play a leading role. Can you tell us a little bit more about Nubia and the Amazons?
Yeah. I'll let Steph do all the deep dive stuff. But I did want to point out that I think this is the first time she's had her own solo title at all, right? Like this is it.
Yeah, I think so. We did have a little bit of a future state story, which was drawn beautifully by Aletha, and I definitely want to ask more questions about that. But yeah, I think this is her first time getting a solo title and, you know, a full story all about Nubia in the DC universe.
Yeah, I'm so stoked about that. I'm just in it to be able to work with Aletha and Steph. So that's really why I'm here.
The dream team.
Yes. Listen, either one of them, great together, blows my mind. The stuff that Aletha is sending, all the designs and all the new stuff that we won't talk about too much because we don't want to spoil it, is so incredible. But yeah, Steph, I'll let you talk about Nubia.
It's just kind of mind-blowing that one to be writing something that is really her own, right? Because when she has popped up the couple times that she has throughout her history in DC Comics, which has been decades, there hasn't really been much there, and with no pressure, no pressure at all. For a character who has a fan base that she does with little to no comic history in itself speaks volumes about the character. So it's just a joy to be able to give her some more backstory, some more meat, and to really give not just Nubia, but also her fans something to finally be able to like gravitate towards and hold on to. Like what a dream come true, one, to work with Vita and to work with Aletha, because both of them are two creators that I have enjoyed for as long as I can talk about comics. So I don't know, like it's an amazing undertaking, but one that I'm happy to be doing. I talked about Nubia on a podcast that I used to do that's centered on Black superheroines, and I just remember thinking like, wow, so this is going to be short research. And it was because it was little to nothing there. So hopefully one day if somebody is doing a podcast on Black superheroines, now they'll have at least this series to go to. And that is something that just really excites me.
And to have her first solo title being, you know, written by Steph, who is the Black woman, and drawn by Aletha, who is just the perfect person to draw anything really, but like specifically Nubia, like
that. No.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't pay me to lie. That's expensive. All right. So this is really, I think it's historic. And I also think that it's an honor to be able to be a part of that. But I'll let Aletha talk a little bit.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little more what it's like bringing Nubia to life, especially now and after your time working on her in Future State and seeing a bit of a future for the character, but now bringing her to the present in her very special role as Queen of the Themyscirans?
Well, when I first worked on Future State, just getting the script and I read it and I thought, you know, I'm an old workhorse to this industry. I've been here forever. Since they let the animals off the ark, I came off behind them. And just having drawn a lot of things, but always never Superman or Wonder Woman, never getting anywhere near those two. In fact, feeling a little unworthy of those two. And just that feeling, I can't, there's no way I could approach and even begin to ask to work on something like this. And then suddenly Nubia came along, but she came at a funny time after heroes were no longer heroes. Maybe they were a little bit, you know, needed therapy. A lot of them like stretched out on the couch there, they're into their feelings very, very deeply. And I kind of like took a breath, go, okay, when am I going to read? And then I read this script, this beautiful, wonderful L script where she was fighting and she's fierce and she's just big and magnificent. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And they say, and you get to do the redesign. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, yes, you do. It's like, possible. Certainly someone else has designed this character and I will just follow and draw like I always do. No. So I'm looking at it and I said, what does a hero like this need? What was classic to these heroes that we don't see with Black characters at all? Well, classic to them is the big hair, number one. Yes. I noticed a lot. I mean, they had her crop with no hair at all. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? No. We need the flowing locks, number one. And we need to see a powerful yet sexy woman. I noticed that we either get a powerful woman and she's unbeautiful, or we get a hypersexualized woman. can't we meet somewhere in this happy middle and get that hero look, that classic hero mean, and then getting to redesign the bad guy and, you know, bulking her up and making her equal. This was amazing. And I'm like, wow, such a ride. Just the whole team, we were enjoying it together. And then it's over, and as usual, I move on to the next book and the next book. It's never anything that I've done. It's what I'm going to do next. And in the meanwhile, I've had a superhero year of myself, and suddenly Nubia comes back. And I'm going, oh my goodness. And she feels different to me now. I haven't gotten to read anything yet, so I want to be pleasantly surprised. Look how I'm staring at you, right? Because you know you're all right.
It's on me. It's on me right now.
It'll be worth the wait, I promise.
But she's sitting on a couch anywhere. Make me wear out my lipstick, please, please. Okay. I expect great things from this character. I expect power from this character. I expect beauty from this character. And then she's surrounded by all her brilliant sisters. Oh, I'm here.
It's going to be great.
I'm here for it. I'm so excited for fans to see all of your takes on Nubia. And I was also going to add in, Nubia is so much part of Wonder Woman's 80th year anniversary, and, you know, a celebration of all of the Themyscirians and all of the Amazons. We're celebrating 80 years this year, as you all know. What is your favorite memory of Wonder Woman in any medium?
Oh, I know my favorite memory. So
I'll give anyone who wants to talk first, because I know this is something that even when I ask this question, I think like, can I possibly answer it? Because there are so many incredible moments.
Yeah, right. All right. In any medium.
In any medium.
All
We're
right.
celebrating it all.
So I'm a huge fan of, Wonder Woman is like my third favorite character of all time. And I'm a huge fan of the Linda Carter show. I'm a huge fan of that show. And I used to skip high school so I could watch it on Sci-Fi Channel. Like, that's how much I love it. And there, in the first episode, it's a long pilot, but she smiles at some point when she goes to Man's World and she sees something that like truly wows her. And Linda Carter's smile in that moment, I was like, oh, that's Diana. That's it. To me, that's a core character. This like strength and beauty, but also like this kind of joy that like we don't let ourselves like feel when we grow up. But she was like, I don't have any of that baggage. I was like, oh, that's it. And so whenever I'm like writing Diana, because I've had the chance to do so, or even like reading other things, like I'm always like, that's the center that I write there.
Becky and Michael, how about you?
Mine's easy. Anytime I'm asked this, this is my go-to, and it's in New Frontier by Darwin Cook. I keep it on hand all the time. It's, if you want a quick study in how to write superheroes, I think this is a really great place to start, and it's a great place to go back to when you think you know superheroes. Go back to it. There's a scene in it where Wonder Woman is found in Cambodia, and where she has taken these militarized women under her wing and has kind of emboldened them in this, you know, kind of self-defense thing against the Khmer Rouge. For me, it showed a level of Diana that is rarely seen, but I think is like the refined definition of what she is, which is someone whose moral compass is self-defined. And that's one of the things that I find most exciting about Wonder Woman, Nubia, all of the Amazons. They aren't these people who have suffered the loss of a mother or father and have lived their lives on a vengeance trail as a result of it, or these displaced aliens who have learned to be good from these like country bumpkin people with good old Americana. He's someone who figures
Whoever
out
could you be talking about there?
We
love Superman. We love Superman here too. We just prefer Wonder
Superman.
Woman.
Not knocking any of these other characters, but they lack something that the Amazons have, which is an agency. And especially with these iconic, powerful female characters, I think that's really important to show is that this morality is evolving, self-defining, and it's something that can change. And what's a more admirable quality in a hero than the ability and the capacity to change and to evolve with the times. So Darwin Cook's New Frontier, that one's mine. I also love George Perez, Greg Rucka, Gail Simone.
I'll name them
all. Of course, all of them.
Taking all of them.
Why choose?
Yeah, I was actually Darwin Cook, of course. I think that version of Wonder Woman is the one that I always go to when I think about Wonder Woman. But like Michael said, George Perez is like incredible. Where Cliff Chiang was one of my favorite artists. When I think about the art on Wonder Woman, I think Cliff Chiang is someone who his run was. This was back when DC was sending out comps, and I was getting comps of everything, and I would go through it every month and like pick out the Cliff Chiang Wonder Woman stuff because it was like so like visually it was like a feast for the eyes, and it was like something that I needed to get back into the character.
Yeah.
Steph or Aletha, you want to go next?
Oh, I can go. So I'm sorry that it's not a comic book, but I keep going back to Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
So good.
Because there is a 2-part episode there that always comes to mind when I think of Wonder Woman, and it's Maid of Honor Part 1 and 2, where Wonder Woman is basically living a life in Paris with the Princess of Kazakhstan, I believe, or Kaznia. And it's just fun because you get this Diana who is, you see how she is kind of stuck between two worlds, but it doesn't really matter because it's Diana and she makes it work. And I love it because also it's very queer coded. That was something that I also really loved about that episode because I was like, yeah, so like let them kiss because you almost think it's, it's gal pals, right? But it's just a really fun episode because it starts off with action and Diana like tearing her dress, the bottom half apart so that she can handle her business. And like, of course, Bruce is there, but Bruce just kind of stands back and lets Diana do what she needs to do. And it's just a really great 2-part episode. And it just showcases Diana in a way that I've just always loved. Like she's someone who could mess you up, but also at the same time is a really great friend. And I don't know, like it wasn't an introduction to Diana, but it was one that made me say, okay, I get it now. Like I get why everyone loves Wonder Woman, why everyone loves Diana, because now I love her too.
That's awesome. Yeah, the animated stuff I feel has brought so many readers to our comics in the past few years because that was our gateway drug. Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, Superman, all of those I feel really influenced the way a lot of us approach the characters nowadays. And Aletha, I'm going to save you for last here. What is your favorite moment with Wonder Woman?
It's weird. She's been one of those characters, like a reoccurring character throughout my life. I remember being very young and outside the country, and there she was on TV, this goddess, truly a goddess to me. And she had a cape. I mean, she spun and she's in costume. She spun again, and there was a whole cape. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. This is the most amazing thing. Then they make you go play in the yard because children weren't allowed in the house in Curacao. Just to know, you're in the yard with the dogs. So I never got to really watch it until we got to America, and by time then it's not on the TV anymore. Now you're getting the flood of all what's here, and it's like culture shock. And then here she pops up again a little later in my life, and she's equally as beautiful. I loved reading Terry and Rachel Dotson's work. He drew like the perfect Wonder Woman. It's like, this is what she should look like on paper. And then coming through again when the first movie came out, and that was her most amazing moment to me because I got to see in a movie theater, there was this huge poster of her, and this like little girl walked up and stared at it and turned around and posed. And I'm like, been waiting for this moment all my life. I realized that she's constantly there, constantly reflecting, but never getting that chance to take that stage as that true hero until that moment to me, watching this wonderful first movie that came out, just walking across the field, taking ownership of herself, and people stating, even men, that I am Wonder Woman. Now she's here, she's arrived. And to be able to hopefully bring Nubia to that, to be able to have her stand as well, because that is like so important to me. I can't even tell you how important that is to me, because many people know that, you know, especially as a Hispanic woman, you are constantly hidden. You're constantly mistaken for someone else. Your job is to blend and to fit where other people think you should fit, including our beloved Linda Carter. She blended and fit too.
Did
not know what she was. And whatever people assume you are, that's the role you take on. And to finally have a role model and to feel like I'm part of something, part of here, not just I'm here for the moment. Please. Thank you so much.
and I'll butt in and say I want Nubia in the movies in your design. That's what I want.
Yeah, I was gonna say the design that Aletha's put together for this Nubia and the Amazons miniseries. Oh my gosh, I don't think the fans are ready for it. And the moment we start to see cosplay for it, it's gonna be amazing.
Like it's the background for my computer. My son came in and he's like, "Whoa, who is that?" He's 5. Really trying to like instill him loving strong women characters, and he does. And he was like, "Well, mommy, who is that?" And I'm like, "It's Nubia." Like, who is Nubia? So I sat there and I tried to explain to him for 20 minutes who Nubia was, but like I want that. Like I want to see her on the big screen because it's due time.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna start in the comics and then they're gonna follow after us. That's the plan in my head. Okay, well, I think from here, why don't we go a little more specific and talk about the actual series and what's going on? And I can ask a few questions because I'm sure fans would love to hear from our writers and artists, you know, what's going on in the books and what they can have to look forward to. So I'll pose this to the Wonder Woman team first. We talked a little bit about the Sphere of the Gods. In October, she is returning from the Sphere of the Gods. Do you have any fun, exciting plans for Diana now that she's been through this odyssey home?
Yes, we do.
That was a very maniacal look at each other.
We have to see who's going to speak first.
Well, it's also like, how much of our hand do we want to show? I think everyone kind of could see the trick that we're pulling, which is that she's going to be gone until her birthday, and then what a beautiful thing, she's going to be reborn into this world, into man's world, in the Amazonian world on her 80th birthday. So what an honor. Also, what a challenge. What an incredible burden to bear. But we're gonna bring the noise. It's gonna be awesome. We're such huge fans that we're gonna hopefully give the readership what they want to see. But also give them more, challenge you a little bit, you know, make it fun, make it fresh.
We really, Diana was, you know, she's died and she's in the afterlife, and it's like you really want to give her a break, like a little time to take a rest, but we really didn't give her any time to pause at all. She deserves a break. just a few pages, but we never really gave that to her. It's really go during this whole afterworlds adventure. And when we get back to Earth, it's like it would be nice if someone threw a party or something, you know, like if there were people that we could talk to make that happen, maybe, I don't know. Someone give her a couple pages where she can just kind of relax. But is that Diana though? Does she know how to?
It's Wonder Woman. She's got to beat somebody up, preferably some dude, you know, like let's go beat somebody up. I think she's gonna return to a world that has kind of moved on to a degree in her absence as well. Yara's showed up. Nubia has stepped into this whole new role. So I think she's going to come back maybe expecting to be Diana's back, everyone celebrate, and maybe they're lightweight, like, hey, it's cool, like Nubia's handling it, your mom's out with Justice League, she's doing cool, like everything's kind of all right.
She's gonna go hang out with the Bonnie McDowell, right? Like they're just gonna party. They'll throw a party. Like they know how to party. Just look at Artemis.
There's someone who knows how to throw a party.
Yeah, that's the crew.
They'll do axe throwing. It'll be great.
Yeah, I think people
Like a
will
Renaissance fair.
Exactly.
people who like Diana of old, you're going to be served, and people who want to see something a little bit different and a fresh take, we're going to try and serve you as well. But ultimately, Diana kind of takes the reins, grabs the lasso, and tells us what to do. I hate when it sounds so pretentious when writers talk like that, but in this case, it's so true. The story is kind of developed really organically, and it's based on a passion for the character and a desire to represent her in a way that makes sense and feels good and feels current while still honoring what came before. So,
Yeah.
looking forward to getting her back in the world and seeing how she interacts with things.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot different from our Afterworld story. But I think similar flavor, but it's very different, the things we have planned.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of Afterworlds, more about that. You've built a pretty cool supporting cast for Diana, and you can talk a little more about them. I know the fans are wondering, and I'm wondering too as your editor, are we going to see more Siegfried in the future? And for those of you who don't know who Siegfried is, can you give us a little elevator pitch of, the new man in Diana's life?
Siegfried is a new friend that she made hanging out in Asgard, based on Sigurd. He's a mythological figure, kind of historical, not really. It's all weird. Travis Moore, we wrote him as like a hunk, basically. He's kind of big. And Travis Moore, like it's a thirst trap, basically, and we fell into it.
We thought we were being cute and clever because we developed this character that had this big world in life that we were never going to see. We were never meant to know certain things about Siegfried. We were like, oh, everyone loves Siegfried in Asgard. Everyone.
Yeah.
And he loves everyone. Like, he's just that kind of guy. We weren't expecting Travis to create this being, this entity that everyone universally feels like drawn to. Thankfully, we have so much to say about this character and so much to explore within him that, yeah, it'll be super easy to explore the character a lot more. It's what we secretly wanted. And it's so
Travis kind of assured that with the design.
Travis locked it in. He locked it in. And to folks out there who love Siegfried, I love you for loving him, because he was a character that we really did a lot of research to qualify certain things about him. I had originally pictured him as he's represented in a lot of media as this like just a big white dude with like flowing blonde locks, and we didn't necessarily want just another white dude running around. So we did a lot of research, and Becky especially found.
Well, it's just like there's a lot of trading. People, the Vikings loved to. I mean, they did their fair share of pillaging, but they were also great traders, and they would just park in a place and like settle down. So I was like, bring in a Persian guy, get him. I don't know.
There's actually documentation in the historical record that this character that Siegfried may have been based on might have had a Persian background. So to us, it was like, okay, we're ready for the weirdos online who want to say, oh, they're like every person in Valhalla is a white dude. It's like, no, you're absolutely wrong. You're wrong. And Siegfried is going to not only prove you wrong, but you're going to fall in love with it.
That's true. A lot of people ask if we're going to see more of Siegfried. And I would always say that depends on like people's reactions to him. Like if people like him, then, we're going to do our best to like, give him some more time, have him around a little bit more. And people really like him. So I think that will tell you everything that you need to know about Sigmania.
He's not just a pretty face either. There's a lot to his character. I've talked about it a little bit on Twitter, But he's a much more dynamic character than he seems currently, and we look forward to.
I think he's pretty dynamic.
Oh, he's dynamic. You're also looking at his hair. His hair is dynamic. His
Very
chest.
dynamic hair.
His smile. Can we just talk about? He has like the crest smile. It's incredible.
It like lights up the page.
It does.
And that's all Travis. You know, working with
Travis and Tamara.
And Tamara, we got a
Tamara Bonvillain, one of the greatest colorists working in the game.
Yeah.
She really brings every page to life.
She was like our number one pick for colorist. And I was like, if we don't get Tamara, I'm going to throw the biggest tantrum you've ever seen. And luckily it was like,
I'm so glad I didn't see it.
I don't know that I've ever seen Becky throw a tantrum, and I'm so thankful to have not seen it yet. But yeah, more Siggy. Yeah. Demand it. Write to the senator. Say we want more Siggy.
People have spoken.
People have spoken indeed.
Using that as a transition over to characters from the Wonder Woman mythos that have taken on a life on their own and become such a big deal that fans have demanded more. We've listened, and that's where we get to our Nubia and the Amazon series. For either our writers or our artists, Aletha, you touched on this a little. What is it like bringing Nubia back into the current continuity in a role that she's never inhabited before? We'll go with Aletha first.
It was interesting to me because, again, reading about Nubia, she's as old as I am, and not really seeing her pop in and pop out, but really not be present. And isn't it always the same? We don't have a hero's journey for her. She sort of just appeared, and we all know the questionable way, the means she got into the world. We're like, what? This is almost fantastical. It's like reading Star Trek, and there's like, what? So there was this white clay, and there was some brown clay right next to it. It was like a train wreck that I got to read. And it was like, oh, this is so much fun. Where are we going here? This is, anyone else feel the heat from reading this? It was like, this got published, but okay, that's fine. But to get to retell that story with her feet on the ground, finally, it feels like she's going to be a real Amazon. She's going to get to be a real girl this time around, but more so maybe a real woman. And like the sketches, I've done like lots of little sketches visiting her, being with her, but I only turn in like the choice one or two that I like. The rest, they get the scorched earth treatment. I know people here, I destroy pages like you couldn't believe because I was
going to say, you have a lot of artists on this panel, and as an editor, I'm just like chills right now thinking of all the things I haven't seen.
I was like, no, you can't. And then I was like, oh, I destroy so much of my own art too. So I get it.
And I'd just love to share with you my home address in case you ever just want to just mail me something.
I have a fire pit. I promise that's where it'll go. It definitely won't go on the wall. Definitely not.
No. Yeah. I was like, it's just because she didn't say anything to me, and getting to draw her in future state and then redesigning her now. And I said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to really touch her with the colors. I'm not used to having so much input. So when I'm used to like, you tell me what to do and I will get it done for you. Other than that, it's like, hey, you want to actually think about it? You're actually like tapping my soul with that, making me have to go, what do I want? What do I want to show? And to me, that's something I've always very much guarded. So it was very difficult to get in touch with how I felt about this character and, bring that little breath. As I said, it's like sometimes I'm drawing, it's like I take my art extremely serious, maybe more so I don't have fun with it because it feels like something I had to fight for instead of something that I got to love. So it coming up, the approach is different. And then it's something I'm fighting to hold on to. Like every day is a struggle. There's not 1 minute of the day that I'm not going, here we are. And I want people to be able to see that reflection, that power, that strength, that beauty. And it's like, I don't want to draw an unbeautiful woman here, especially because I know that, like I said, she keeps popping up in my life. She keeps coming back around, but this time she's coming back in the form of Nubia. And this is my chance to finally have that little girl see that reflection. And she's not just going, is she, or might she, or can we? No, you identify, this is you, this is us. So when you're dressing up in that wonderful cosplay, you can feel sexy. You don't feel like you're borrowing pieces of another character, or you're borrowing something that shouldn't be yours. It's not your legacy. And so you know how it feels when you put on a costume. but it's really like you're putting on two costumes and you're braced for the people's bad reaction to something that you love. Like, you don't have a right to love it. This is not yours. This is yours. Put it on. Whatever.
And that energy comes through, and to me, like I'm the one contributing the least here, but to me, what's important is that your feelings, that your passion, not just passion, but that your struggle and your love for this character is what people get to see, right? Like, this team isn't just like, all right, you have a job and you have a job and you have a job. Like, why would we even be here? What's the point of doing this project, right? Like, the whole point is that we are given the opportunity to definitively say who Nubia is. And again, I step back from that because I think that it is really important for Steph and Aletha to be able to do that as much as possible. Because I feel like if it means this much to me, it must mean more to you as women, right? Especially as women of color. And so I want that passion from Aletha. That's what I want to see when I'm turning pages, or, you know, if she sends me any pages, it's like, that's the thing that's going to make it even more meaningful for people, right? Like, you had to scrap and fight every single day for it. And that's going to be the legacy. And then we're going to get to see that. And to me, that's so special. That's incredible.
Yeah. And Steph, you go.
No, I was going to say, just piggybacking off of Aletha's energy. That's the way that I feel about Nubia. Because often when you bring her up, it's, oh, that's Wonder Woman's Black sister. But it's like, no, this is Nubia on her own. Like, she exists. Let's make her so fully realize that you have no choice but to see Nubia and Nubia alone. And that's no shade or anything to Diana, but it's just so important that this character stand on her own and be her own thing, so that when you think of Nubia, you don't think of Wonder Woman, you don't think of anything else, you just think of Nubia. And I just think that's really, really important. So to hear Aletha speak so passionately in that way just makes me even more happy.
Yeah, it's not player two colors. Like, it's not Wonder Woman player two colors. It's Nubia's her own thing. Yeah. And that's wonderful, right? Like, the secret agenda of everyone on this panel is to elevate everything that has to do with the Amazons, and to make each separate character who is being featured the actual star of whatever is going on. I know that Joelle couldn't be here, but like, the same, I'm sure that she feels the same about Yara, like, who I'm in love with.
He's already brought the fire with Yara. I love that.
We love Wonder Girl here.
So good. But, you know, like, I feel like that passion that we're all bringing, I think that we're going to be able to duke it out, you know, with Smallville and with Gotham. Like, I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
and I love those both too. Don't get me.
I think we're all of a singular vision in terms of understanding that there's a much bigger world to the Amazons than we know even after 80 years. And to have multiple manifestations of the idea of what a leader among them looks like and acts like and behaves like, there's going to be a whole spectrum to be on display and to be shown. It's not, oh, here's another Amazon, here's a black Amazon, here's a white Amazon. No, that's not what it's about. It's, yes, there's certain things about ethnicity that's being explored here, but more it's about characters. It's about culture of these women and the different elements of the culture that's being represented. And it's about telling really cool stories that stand on their own, independent of each other, but also have this kind of shared roots of, you know, it kind of came from this thing way back when, before there was real representation being considered and thought of by not just readership, but the creators alike. So I, as a Nubia fan, like, I'm so excited to see like how this is going to shake up the world of the Amazons, to see Nubia truly broken away from the pack and as a leader and as a powerful character. It's going to change the way that we look at Diana. And similarly, it's going to change the way that we engage with all of the Amazons. So as just a fan, as like a Wonder Woman nerd, I like cannot wait for the Nubia book so that I can like learn more about Nubia. I'm right there with everyone else. I'm like, oh my God, she's like finally like gonna get defined and built out and be doing her own thing. It's so sick because I love the future state stuff. Yeah, and I wanted more, so and thank God I'm getting more. Like, I'm giddy about it.
Right, like I want everyone's favorite to be Amazons. Like I want an Amazon for everyone. Like not, you know what I mean? Like if you want to identify with Nubia, if you want to identify with Diana, if you want to identify with my, you know, one of my favorites, Artemis. She goes hard. I'm just saying. A lady with an axe in those arms. I love the arms. You know, that's what I want. I want like people to be like, yeah. Superman's cool, Batman's cool, but have you seen these other Amazons? And we got like, well, Wonder Girl is also quickly becoming my favorite, but like we have so many choices, right? And I want to elevate all of that, right? Like I just want to be like, we're gonna sweep all the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. Like that's what I want.
Yeah, Becky, you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as creating superheroes, it's like we're writing modern mythology. And right now, if you ask anybody, like, where did Batman come from? Everybody knows. And if you ask, like, oh, it's Superman's origin, like everybody knows. They know who the villains are. But if you go to someone on the street and like ask about, like, oh, where did Wonder Woman come from, or like who are some of the other Amazons? Like most people don't know. So I think we're at like we have this it's a crazy time right now where we're like able to define and to write this new mythology that is going to cement it in people's minds, like what's coming and like who these characters really are.
In a mythology that isn't just limited to Diana, you know, like there's like a ton of colorful characters in the Wonder family that all kind of that need moments, that need time to be able to communicate their value to the greater story. So that it's super exciting to be a part of. And as the writers of Diana, Diana's always going to be like the star of our book, but we're also like just champing at the bit to like have an opportunity to show like some of these other characters as they're developing and growing, and to show what the relationship looks like and what that feels like, and to see what the other writers that we're working side by side with or how they interpret it.
It's just really exciting to be working on Wonder Woman right now with all you guys just doing such incredible work. And, you know, it's just really inspiring. You know, it makes us want to write even more, and it makes us want to be better. To see what you...
And we all wanted more Aletha drawing Nubia. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Here.
How awesome.
Yeah. We got to work with Aletha very, very brief, only
just
4
for
pages,
a little wink
4
of the
pages,
eye,
but it was a delight.
Talk about that inbox popping, and you get to see the artwork before everyone else. It's so sick. I'm super jealous of Team Nubia for getting to see Aletha artwork early.
Well, we'll definitely be teasing it to all of you.
Yeah, you better include us on that.
Yeah, come on. Slap my name on the old CC. I won't say anything. It's cool.
Well, I was going to say, it is also worth pointing out that, you know, after 80 years of the character, this is the first time we've had so many series in the Wonder Woman family going on at the same exact time. And that's so exciting to see all the stories all of you are telling together, whether it be Nubia, Diana, Yara Flor with Joelle Jones's series. It's an incredible time to be a Wonder Woman fan, and we're just so excited to share it with all of you. So unfortunately, our writer-artist of Wonder Girl, Joelle Jones, couldn't make it today, but she wanted to send along a special video as a thank you to all of the fans.
Hi everyone, this is Joelle Jones, writer and creator of Yara Flor, aka Wonder Woman. I just wanted to reach out and thank everyone for the amazing response to Yara and Wonder Girl in general. It's been fantastic, so thank you. I'd also like to make a special shout out to all the Brazilian fans and the artists who've reached out to help me. When I started working on Yara, I really wanted to create a modern superhero, showing her warts and all. And she means so much to me as I've worked on her, and I've fallen in love with her more and more. I've got some really exciting adventures planned for her, and I can't wait to share them with you. It's going to be really exciting, and you're not going to want to miss any of it. One last thing, I'd like to wish Wonder Woman a very happy birthday. She's had many amazing escapades over the years, but I think my absolute favorite moment is pretty broad. It's George Perez's reimagining of her origin story. It's so huge and dynamic. I love it. But anyway, thank you all for the support, and hang on tight for more adventures with Wonder Girl.
I wanted to say thanks to all of our panelists today. It's been a wonderful conversation, pun intended. So again, we're celebrating 80 years of Wonder Woman this year, and the superhero's timeless message of hope and empowerment with original content, commemorative comics, books, global fashion collections, and experiences, all culminating on Wonder Woman Day on October 21st. And for more information on that, make sure you check out dccomics.com, or we also have some hashtags on Instagram like Believe in Wonder and Wonder Woman 80. And I'm sure you will see this entire team there chiming in, posting awesome art. We can't wait for you to join us this year. And thanks again to everyone for joining.